So you got 1.2 reduced to 200,000. And other CPAs wouldn't do it. Why? Fear. Not that I'd go around putting in Facebook, Ed doesn't fear the IRS. I don't need you to make me a target. The truth is, I'm willing to do the fight as long as I know I can win the fight.
I'm excited to introduce tonight's guest. Special guest is Mr. Ed Guerrero. Ed has nearly 30 years of experience in accounting, finance, auditing, tax. He knows his numbers. He's also an entrepreneur and owner of Guerrero CPA, in addition to, last I heard, like 12 other affiliated companies. He speaks frequently with business owners and real estate investors to educate them about proactive tax strategies and wealth preservation. So, without further ado, please welcome my friend and personal CPA, Ed Guerrero.
So I heard it was comedy night tonight. Is that true?
All right.
So the first comedy joke is, this is me before tax season. This is me after tax season. So, you know, when we talk about taxes, we have to look at, you know, most people tell the truth. How do you feel about taxes? Do most people fear taxes, hate taxes? Show of hands.
All good.
Come on, be truthful. We're going to have a truthful crowd tonight. Seriously, because I hear my clients come to me and they say, Ed, no, nothing personal, but I don't like coming to your office. And I have to smile and say, well, come on in. Let's go see how much you're going to do and what you can do. I'm going to stand back here because I think we're recording. And I want to make sure we're going to go through. So now that I know how to use the clicker, we'll get going. So, the art. How many of you have mastered the art of making money? If you're making over 25, 30, 40, 50,000, raise your hand. Come on, guys. That's called the art of making money. How many of you have mastered the art of keeping the money? There's only a few, and I can ask some questions. Legally, have you No, I'm just kidding. I have daughters. So, yes, and the keeping of the money is the key, right? Because most of us will focus where? The art of making it. The art of keeping it is the last thing, and when do you start thinking about taxes? January, February, March, because why? April, yeah. And some like Chris later, right? Why? Because the commercials come out. And that's what triggers your brain. Hey, it's tax time. Oh my God, I got to do my taxes. This is psychology. My first part is talking about the psychology of taxes. And people go, why? Well, because I can give you all the strategies to reduce your taxes, but your psychology is going to get in the way. I know because it got in my way. I'm from the west side of San Antonio. Anybody from the west side of San Antonio? Just me? Yeah? Okay, so you know different psychology there. So let's get started. Check this out. So this is about our firm. We started in 2001, 25 employees, 5 in the Philippines, 2 in Mexico. We service clients all over because we're the guys that know. Somebody asked me, do you do real estate? And I laughed. I go, wait till you see, okay? Because we do a lot of real estate. We do all these different states out there. We're in a lot of different places. And again, we're growing like crazy because we do something that most CPAs don't do. Education first. We totally believe we want our clients to be educated. Now, we didn't say we want you to master this yet. You will. But we have an education channel, and you're going to see it. And we do over 4,600 returns. I think we beat that, over 5,000 returns this year. And most of our clients are real estate investors. And again, why? Because we're a real estate investor. I'm a real estate investor. So I have to coach my team, become a servant to the clients. Serve first, and they'll tell everybody. And that's what we've been doing. We've been telling folks in our team, go beyond what the client's asking you. A lot of clients will ask us, hey, I just need my tax preparation. What that means to me, you need the optimal strategies, optimal thinking of what should you be doing to lower your taxes, not just the prep. Because how many of you have gone to the CPAs and they're just preparing your taxes and you're going, there's got to be more. I know there's more. I hear. You heard that sexy word that Chris used, depreciation. That's so sexy. I get excited with that. I told my wife, talk to me in my depreciation language. She does. If you haven't met my wife, there she is. She said, don't point her out. Lisa Guerrero, right back there. Attorney, and she helps us serve our clients as well. And again, the decisions you make in taxes will shape what happens to your family. Would you agree? Decisions you make. I had one realtor came to me, true story, just this tax season. She said, I want a tax preparer. So what I hear, I want a tax strategist. Because I know I need to help her. She needs therapy, okay? She wants a preparer only. So I give her tax strategies, and I save her $6,000, and she's angry at me because I gave her a bill of $1,200. And she says, that's too much. She's looking at the bill, not the savings. And I said, I looked at her and I didn't want to be offensive, but I said, are you good at math? And she looked at me, that's it. I don't need you. She tore it up. She didn't want the return. $6,000 in her pocket. She tore it up. I'm going to tell everybody you're a tax strategist, not a tax preparer. And I said, hallelujah, thank you. So she did. But honestly, we're looking out for your impact in your life, because when I look at clients, I look at what they should be putting away, and not only for themselves, but their legacy, their kids, their family, and on and on and on. They could have so much, but they don't learn the right way. So again, learning the right way. Some of this talk is from Tony Robbins. Anybody a Tony Robbins fan here? Yeah, okay, good. He knows how to get you going, then. So I've been studying Tony for the last 5.5 years. 30 minutes every day. I'll tell you, it's going to change your life and the way you look at real estate. Because when you pump this guy in your mind every day, it's going to turn things on. It's going to teach you some things. I'm going to be sharing some things about it. First of all, he talks about state of mind, and then the story and the strategy. That's in the order that you should do it. See, if my presentation went to the strategy, I would be doing it wrong, and I'd be doing you a disfavor for the game here. I've got to get your state of mind going. Some of you got some state of mind. I saw you guys drinking at the bar. Yeah, do it, right? No, but the story is what holds us back. So if we look at the story, the state is, what do you do every day, right? What do you do for yourself to change your mindset? I know a lot of people, do you know right now, in real estate, does everybody know it's the time to buy? And somebody will go, you're crazy. But it is, isn't it? It's the uncertainty. Do you hear that word all over everywhere in the news? Uncertainty, uncertain. Please give them more uncertainty. What is it doing to the seller? Giving them uncertainty. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell this. I like negotiating. You know what I start my negotiation at? I want to buy your property for $100,000 less. And somebody would go, that's offensive. I go, really? What's that? I said, hey, if that's offensive, give me a counter. Don't get angry. Now, what if they give you $50,000? That's better than getting at that. But uncertainty is guiding our market. So again, if you know the game, you understand it. But the state of mind is where you start. And I always say, please read, please listen, please get more information. Just this group, when Chris was doing it, I've been watching this group and I've been going, beautiful, Chris. You're giving people that state of mind. They need to come together and they need to learn more and more. And the story, what do you hear? Who do you listen to? I get this all the time. Well, my next door neighbor, or I Googled, and I go, well, how many returns do they do? Their own? They only do one? So you're going to listen to them, and I do close to 5,000 returns. They will tell you, be careful because what? You might get audited, and then your fear goes up. And I go, well, we average about 3 audits a year out of 5,000 clients. You won't get audited for doing things right. You get audited for doing things wrong. and illegal, right? That's when you got problems. But ultimately, you need to have your story correct, and you need that therapy to do that. So we know there's two tax systems out there. We know that. Those that are informed and those that are not informed. Which are you? Isn't that true? Because most people who are not informed, it's not that they don't know it. They might have the knowledge, but they lack the execution. They might be informed by what they read, but their fear gets in the way. And a lot of times when we talk about strategies, these are some things that get in the way. So fear, I learned to embrace the IRS. We were having dinner and I was telling our friends that I like to go to audits. Now I don't like my clients to go to audits. I like to go to audits. Why? Because I want to know the competency of our IRS group. Do you know right now the competency of the IRS is very low? What happened? They hired a bunch of people that are not trained. They threw them out there. And when they come and they ask for questions and they go, I'm here to audit one of your clients. And I'm going, really? What exactly are you looking for? And they don't know how to answer that because they think I'm trying to trick them. And then I guide them. Here's what you need to look at. And I have all the paperwork. Here you go. And then the audits are over because the client has gotten the right documentation. And IRS today is being a big challenge. There's a big challenge today. Would you agree? They have a lot of problems going on right now. So feelings equals emotions. Emotions equals action, or I call it execution. See, I've got to get your feelings to love taxes and get that emotion to go, woohoo, taxes, yeah! I'm working on y'all. You guys don't know. Your psychological subconscious is going, what the hell is this? What's he doing to us? Because I want each and every one of you to leave here with an execution. What are you going to execute in real estate? Because that's what matters. Do you know I talk to a lot of real estate groups and they have knowledge, but they failed to execute. True story, I was at a Saturday meeting, about 10 to 15 folks, and I said, how many properties have you bought? That group, 0. I was like, well, what happened here? Isn't this a real estate investment group? What I found, it was a real estate knowledge group. They lacked the execution. You won't get your feelings hurt until you get into the game. You won't get properties damaged until you get in the game. You lost money in the multifamily world. Anybody lose money in the multifamily world? Am I the only one? It hurts, but hey, that's part of the game. And I figured out how to make money in the multifamily game. And I can tell you, it might be one of the best times, Chris could tell you, to get into multifamily in the next 3 to 6 months. Maybe right now. I got called the other day on a multifamily that I lost. And they said, hey, you were in this. Do you want to buy? And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I lost it. Now, I wasn't the lead, but I was invested in it. Then I said, by the way, how much is a door? That's how we talk in real estate. How much is a door? And the guy said, $60,000 a door. What? I'm in. Because my wife says I can invest anything I want now because I bought her a nice condo. So no, true story, I'm in. Because I know $60,000 a door will make 3x of the money because 90 was at 90 and 100 where we're at before they fell off the cliff. We all know what happened in the multifamily game, right? Interest rates went up. Not by 1 point. How many points? Almost 4, 5. That kills the bottom line. Taxes went up, doubled. Insurance went up. You guys know. So again, this is where we have to learn to control our emotions so we can execute. So strategy, your knowledge, your technique, right? Your execution. This is our first level of teaching, proactive. You have to change your mindset to be proactive. When should you start planning? What do you think? What did you say? Well, no, I'm talking about this year, right? I got a present. Who said now? Woo-hoo! There you go. And I'm going to tell you what that is in a minute. Now, because you will have time to execute your plan from now to the end of the year. See, most of us didn't get taught this. We were taught, wait till January. No, it's right now. We started tax planning meetings. We started scheduling people May, June, July, August, so we can give them the plan so they can execute. That's the key, being proactive. Most of the public and most of the people that are not in here, you know what they are? Reactive. And then they're the ones telling you not to do this, not to do that. Don't listen to them. They're reactive. You've got to be proactive in our game. Most people who are reactive are losing $5,000, $6,000 in their personal return. Check this out. A business return, look at that money in 10 years. Could you use that money? We see that all the time. Over and over and over, we have people just leaving money on the table because they have nobody proactively planning for them. They have no proactive execution for them. And a lot of times, they don't even know it. They go, oh, we're doing good. We're okay. Not a problem. Ed, I don't know if I need you. You think? And this is our process that's a little messy, but I just want you to focus after number 8 because CPAs, tax preparers, everybody stops at number 8. We created 3 products, tax checkup, tax consultation, and tax surgery. Have y'all heard of those products? Probably not. Now you have, right? Those are products that we use to give you to project your taxes and the steps you need to reduce your taxes. I'll give you an example. So at the end of the year, my taxes were going to be high. I called my wife, honey, we need to go to Fredericksburg. We need to buy something in 2 weeks. And it's 2 weeks before the end of the year. Or maybe 3, I don't remember. Give and take. She's going, what? She's already been down this roller coaster, so she gets it. But so she comes with me, and I said, honey, you're going to do a wine tasting. We'll hang out at the winery. And I wanted her to drink more wine because I was going to do some crazy things, right? So drink, honey, okay? She drank, I drank. We had a good time. We went to go look at properties, and we negotiated, got a nice discount, locked in the deal 2 weeks before. Literally, this is what happens. We bought a short-term rental, didn't even change a pillow there. And within days, we got it turned over to short-term rental in our names. It's moving. Now I can cost segregate. Everybody knows that word, cost segregate? If you don't know it, please say it, cost segregate. Because you can cost segregate, you're going to be able to accelerate depreciation as fast as you can against that property to have a big depreciation amount. We were able to get about $150,000 deduction. Do you think 150 would help your tax return? I think so. And again, I called clients and said, look what I'm doing. You need to do this. And I lined them all up very quickly. We had them all looking in Fredericksburg properties. There were several properties sold within that 2 weeks. Again, because I wanted to execute, we were doing tax surgery. I was out there helping my clients execute. A lot of them who were going to pay taxes, they weren't executing. So I said, screw it. We're going to go do it for them. And that's what we did, and we helped them execute. That surgery is the last part. This is our equation. Tax prep plus strategy equals your tax system. Does everybody have a good tax system today? Do you know what I talk about, a tax system? Do you know what it is? I'm going to show you my tax system right now. Actually, let me hold off for a second. So we identify patterns, and then we utilize patterns, and then we innovate patterns. In strategies, we look at what does everybody need for the 5 tax strategies to begin with. And we have them all listed. Jennifer is one of our employees, and she could probably tell you strictly what's the first 3, 4, and we just do a pattern. Then we go beyond that pattern, and we continually fix and identify those patterns, right? And once we do that, we know how to approach our tax strategies. Today, our company has proactive education first. These are all patterns people have told me. Hey, I wish my CPA. And then we have a podcaster. We have the first AI podcaster called Eddie. That was my name when I was a little kid, Eddie. I made him 6 foot tall too. So now these patterns are going into the game. We also have an ecosystem, and that's, my wife's the attorney with 2 other attorneys. We have payroll teams, bookkeeping teams, because in order to really get the benefit of strategies, you got to have your numbers, and you got to have good numbers. Most real estate investors are challenged by that. And we have to get you in the right framework to get there. So we have this ecosystem that can help you as well. This is our tax system. A few companies. Chris said, well, it's 17? Yeah, something like that. Maybe 20, 25. And our son helps us run a lot of these. My wife helps us run a lot of these. A lot of these in red are our holdings for real estate. Kind of a answer, right? What do you need to reduce your taxes? And I'm going to go into details on these things. So this is our real estate holding. There's about long-term rentals. We've got 6, owner finance, about 15, multifamily, 17, short-term rentals. Right now we only have 2, but we're ready to grow that. Office buildings 4 and REITs 4. This is our holdings. And it's growing every year, right? So thinking like the wealthy is our key. That's what we tell all our investors. We've got to continue thinking like the wealthy. Taxes are not what you have to pay, it's what you want to pay. Have you heard that?
No, that's new for me.
I know, and you guys are thinking, I'm going to jail and he's Mexican, right? That's my Mexican joke for the day. I mean, seriously, think about it. If you don't want to pay a lot in taxes, go buy a property. If you don't want to pay a lot in taxes, go cost segregate. If you don't pay a lot in taxes, do something before the end of the year. But most people, what do? Just look in, they do nothing, they lock up. So you're in the right room, right time to take advantage of it. Taxes are not what you have to pay, it's what you want to pay. So how do I deduct this? That's the bracelet I just gave her. If you wear it, I kid you not, if you wear it every day, it might not look sexy on you, but it might well. It is going to brainwash her to go, how do I deduct this? How do I deduct this? It's talking to you. That's a big present, okay? Just for saying the right answer. Okay. Yeah, we got more. Okay, so life happens for you, not to you. Have you heard that? So, when I got that big loss in multifamily, I went, okay, Tony, help me out. I need some therapy. Because if you're in multifamily, what happened? The last 2 years, some of these multifamilies fell off the cliff, right? The box was too big to manage. And what I'm saying is the GPs could not manage it. They couldn't refinance it. There wasn't enough money left. So I started thinking, if the box too big, what's the alternative? Get a smaller box. So now I figured out, fractional real estate in a small box. I won't give it away. I just want to plant the seed for you. Fractional real estate in a small box, okay? So that is the new way that I'm going to be looking at how to invest with other people. Because we all still need the deduction. That didn't go away. And again, this is part of the help. Success leaves clues, right? So you've got to be working in a group like this so you can see who's successful, what's happening, and what can you mirror, right? Because again, if you don't mirror that, you'll forget the clues. You won't even see it. It'll pass you by. So this is an area that I say, let's go make a lot of money and let's start giving a lot of money away. Do you know giving opens opportunities for you? How does it make you feel when you give? Good. I have a guy that he gives at the bingo parlor. He gives his time. But he makes about $350,000 a year by giving at the bingo parlor. What do you think is happening? He has a shirt that says Real Estate Me. And he's helping people, and now he helps them find or invest money or sell their home. But he's given his time, right? So the secret of living is giving, right? This is us building schools in Guatemala. We've done that for over 10 years. And the group that we're part of is Hug It Forward. And they've built over 150 schools. So if anybody wants to join us, we still have room to go. You might meet some real estate investors and multifamily people. And the other is in Africa. I told somebody we own a village in Africa. They made me a king for that day, and I thought I was getting my head cut off because a real king was going to come. And I thought, is this real or not? Am I in trouble? I don't know. We're going back again. It's beautiful. We helped them out there in their village in Songwe up in Livingston, Africa. And again, this is the fun part of making money and giving back, okay? And this is in San Antonio Gore Ministries. We help them in the South Side. The key is, what I like is helping people go make money, get deductions, give back, do these things for these groups. So choosing the right business structure. This is strategy. Right here is where we start, okay? This is what y'all came for. I was giving you psychology, now we're going to go to strategies, okay? Choosing the right structure. If you don't have structure and you do real estate, either you're going to be exposed, you won't have asset protection, or you might end up having more taxes because you don't have right structuring. So you're going to see what I'm talking about in a minute. This is a simple worksheet that we use. And, you know, we usually analyze people, and they're usually about 5 columns across. This one, for presentation purposes, we shrunk it down to 3. And again, this person was paying $36,000 in taxes because they were sole proprietor, Schedule C. We got them an LLC in the middle. Now they're paying $20,000. And then in the last column, we've already asked 3 more questions. What does your company, or in case you guys, what does your properties need before the end of the year? The next question we ask is, what does your retirement need before the end of the year or after the end of the year? And then what is your family doing for your business before the end of the year? Some of you are married. Some of you have kids. Have you put them to work? My son went to work for us at the age of 11. Do you know why age of 11? Because my wife said in the north side is age 16. I said in the west side age 6, so we had to compromise age 11, okay? The good thing is he was in where he was working for us, and he learned all these things while he was working. Today he's age 27. He runs 5 of our companies. He does QuickBooks. He does a lot of our tax returns. He manages properties. Because he tells me, I'm not an accountant. And I'm thinking, well, I won't say he's not because he's doing taxes. He does QuickBooks, but we don't call him an accountant. He calls himself a real estate investor and a real estate property manager. That's okay, as long as he does my taxes. Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm trying to see how would these 3 be comparable? Because the first 2 columns, the income is 120, annual income is 120, but the third column, the income is only 75,000.
So I remember I said there was a couple of things I've added in the last. It's actually column number 5 right now, but we can't show it to you because it doesn't fit here. Okay. But I'm going to tell you, we've already asked the first 3 questions. What does your property need before the end of the year? What does your retirement need? These are just the first 3 fundamentals. Now I'm going to take you to the next step. Do you need another property? What kind of investment do you need to lower your taxes? Do you need to get into multifamily? Do you need to become a GP? Do you need a short-term rental, long-term rental? And we're going to talk about real estate professional and non-real estate. But these are just triggers throughout the formulas that we start looking at and working with you. And again, this is just a simplified worksheet. To give you an example, this person went from 3620 to 9800 with those questions. And again, those questions reduce the income. So let me go there. All right. So being a real estate professional, have you guys heard that? Active or passive? How do you become there? And these are just some of the things that you should keep. If you haven't seen the link, we can send you a link. 750 hours, income test 50%, keeping an active detail list. Because some of you want to become real estate professionals. Some of you are real estate professionals. And we can guide you to how to get there. And I'm going to tell you one of the quickest ways to get to real estate, not real estate professional, but one of the quickest way to get deductions is becoming the short-term rental game. That has a whole different requirement versus long-term rentals. Whole different requirement. It doesn't require you to become a real estate professional. Short-term rental kind of bypasses that game. So when you're a non-real estate professional, you're passive, your losses are suspended. What that means is they don't get to go against active income. So active income, W-2s. Active income, other K-1s. So they don't get to go against that. They get to offset the passive losses. So if losses are passive and you have passive income, they get to offset those. And when you sell them, they get to help you in the sale. But meantime, a lot of people don't know why they can't get their losses against active income. It's because they're not real estate professionals. They haven't passed that test. And again, choosing the right structure. This is a structure that we choose for a lot of our real estate investors. LLC as a management company in a series, LLC. And part of the structure is, this is the old way. They used to put everything in one LLC. You see properties 1, 2, and 3. They're in one property, one LLC. Well, that's the way not to do it. Why? Because if you get sued, property number 1, 2, and 3 are in the lawsuit. You don't want that, right? And some people do that. Why? Because they don't want to pay more money to set these up correctly. And so what we tell them is this is what they should do. Open a series LLC. They have a management company, series 1, 2, and 3, and 4. This is done in Texas, and this is a way to protect. Some people just have their properties in their personal name. And God forbid they have a car accident, they killed somebody, 444, 4444 comes out to you, right? They're going to go after your what? Your assets, personal. These are all corporate assets, but they're separated and individualized so that if something happens to property number 1, 2, 3, and 4 are protected. That's the way to set it up. A lot of people want to do the other way. This other way is the wrong way, and I have to show them, no, we got to do it this way. And then some people want to, I tell them, hey, well, you can also have your trust. Talk to my wife. She can put them as owners. So if something happens to you, they can be owned by your trust. They can then have directions of what these properties are, where they're going to go, what's going to happen. Again, the management company is our play. Who manages? If your family needs to be in there, well, let's put your family in there. Let's put a family company together to manage properties, and you start getting other deductions that you're not getting. That's called personal deductions, right? So what type of real estate investors are out there? There's all these types, right? Flips, wholesale, buy and hold, short-term rentals, owner finance. All of these matter. Just depends on how you're going to play the game. Flips, we call flips 30, 60, 90 days. Some of you might call flips 1 year, 2 years. I go, that's not a flip. You're doing construction remodeling. You've missed the flip kind of thing. Have you heard the BRRRR strategy? Okay, that's still in play. There is a lot of potential, and the challenge right now in Texas, right? Because we have higher cost of insurance, higher cost of taxes. Some of these are making money in other states. The question is, do you know the other states, where to go to? Does anybody do any business in Missouri, Alabama, Mississippi? The only reason I'm telling you is I have clients there doing really well. I looked at their taxes and I went, you didn't give me the taxes. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Because I'm used to taxes in Texas, 2, 4, 5, 6,000. Mississippi, how much? 400, 500, 600, 700. I'm going, what the heck happened here? That's the game. You've got to understand what other places are doing and how to play the game. And again, flips is a way we tell you, hey, either do the flips in your management or keep them in a series so you can separate them. So in case something happens, yes, in case something happens, you got asset protection, okay? Commercial properties, again, we like commercial, and I like small commercial to be chopped up. What does that mean? I like doing small offices. So instead of renting offices for $1 or $2 a square foot, I like to rent offices for $4, $5, $6 a square foot. Why? Because I do executive offices. Better, right? Better math. So again, I have commercial, multiplication of money, other people's money. Why do we do it? Great deduction. And again, cost segregation, depreciation. Beautiful deductions. How about multifamily? I just told you this is the best time to get in. But it's got to be $60,000 a door. 70. Don't go over 80, 90, and it's got to be what? Maybe a fixed rate? Because the bridge loans that were being used. Everybody knows the group that started the multifamily, or one of the groups that was down here, Lifestyles. They started a formula, a great formula for all these years, except 2 years ago. They all fell off the cliff the same way. Everybody fell off. That's called because of the variable loan, the bridge loan. So these things started hurting people. But again, is it time to look for those properties that have been foreclosed that you can get into? Probably, I would say yes. Talk to Chris, he knows some of those, and I'm sure you're seeing it. It's all over out there that people are losing their properties that are in multifamily. Now, some of them have survived because they had deeper pockets. They were able to maneuver that box, right? The good thing about multifamilies, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Great deductions, you're sharing the risk, cost segregation again, you see that word. A lot of our clients have benefited from these cost sags and these big depreciations their first year. I have a property in San Antonio, I invested $500,000. My deduction for that cost seg was $500,000. I finally met the zero taxes. Hallelujah. Now, I'll tell you, my psychology was really messed up. Because you know what it said? Just like everybody would say here, what if it doesn't work? What if I need the money? What if, right? The what if psychology. But I'll tell you, we were in a fixed rate. That's good. Thank you, Lord. And we're managing the taxes, we're managing the insurance, but the cost seg was enormous. And again, that's what wealthy people do. You have to go in and reinvest and invest. This multifamily is doing excellent because we put it into a fixed rate and we're controlling the taxes. We're fighting with those taxes and the insurance, and we're doing as much as we can to lower those. Investing in STRs. Everybody knows short-term rentals. That's what we call STRs, right? How many of you do STRs? Any of you? Several of you, yeah. Again, this is a quick way to get a shot of depreciation to lower your taxes. A quick way without having to qualify as a real estate professional. Again, just a quick way. So if you're a W-2 employer, you've got friends and family that are W-2, and they want deductions, because most W-2 people, do they have deductions? Zero. If they're not in real estate, if they don't have a company, right? This is a good way to reduce their taxes, getting into, remember I said fractional real estate, so what if you get in it with them? Maybe that could be a good play. So again, real estate deductions on a syndication STR, that's what I put together, right? So this is a way that you could reduce your taxes in the W-2 world. How about owner finance? Is anybody doing that? I love owner finance. I love 20-year notes. I love 25-year notes. I love 30-year notes. Why? Interest. That's the other sexy name. Interest. Because you're giving somebody the ability to have ownership and they're paying you lots of interest. The longer you make it, the lower their payments, isn't it? You know what's funny? When the rates drop to 2 to 3%, you know how many people refinanced me that was given 8 to 10 to 12%? I had zero refis. Why? Why? You got to ask the question, why? Because I gave them a longer term and their rates were, their payments were low. They didn't want to give that up. Oh, I hear all this, oh, that's beautiful. I was like, wow. Because they didn't want to go back and go, well, you're going to get a 15 years now. Yes, you got a lower rate, but now your payments are higher. Interesting, right? Success leaves clues. You get that? Give them longer terms. It helps the game and it helps your note. Could you sell your note to a third party? Absolutely. Absolutely, you could sell your notes. Now, I like keeping them, and I keep telling my wife, we're going to do a lot of notes. That's how we like the game. Notes are excellent to keep. Deductions when you're a business owner. How many of you have your LLCs? Several of you? If you don't have one, you need one, right? Because you're in real estate business. Did you hear that? A lot of you call yourself a real estate investor. You need to call yourself a real estate business owner. These are all kinds of deductions in real estate that you start looking at. What can I take deductions on? What should I be getting more deductions on? Do I get depreciation? Do I get interest, taxes, insurance if I have rentals? Absolutely. I've got somebody that rents their house, their own house out. Actually, I was talking to our good friend. She was saying this elderly lady rents her house out, and she told me she was there and all her clothes are in her closet. All her pictures are there. But she's renting her house out. Grandma's getting a deduction. That's awesome. I'm going, hallelujah. I want to meet this lady. I got to go see her. But seriously, she's getting a deduction. Why? Because she moves out. She goes stays with her kids. She's renting. Now her home, which she probably calls her homestead, is now fractional real estate, and she's getting deductions that she would not get because it's personal home. She just turned on something called real estate investment. So repairs, office expenses, business expenses, presentations like these, meals, you got to separate your meals. A lot of you clump your meals together, and if they're catering meals, they're 100%. If they're business meals, they're 50%. Separate, right? This is a good one right here. This is the catering presentation, 100%. Miles traveled, retirements, do you have diversification happening in your game? And again, all of these are deductions that you should be getting or asking these questions, where are they? Why aren't you getting these, right? Automobile deductions in your business. Are you using your vehicles? Most of you do. Have you written off your mileage? Have you written off deductions or bought a new vehicle and taken that depreciation? There's a lot of things you can do. A lot of people ask me, leasing or purchase, what should I do? I go, depends. What do you need? Right? Hiring your kids. I told you a story about my son coming to work for us. He did not like it at all at the age of 11. He told me I was the worst parent he could, be, that I was. I said, it's okay. You'll understand what's going on here. He said I was abusive because I put him to work and all his friends were not working. Then I called him and I said, how many of your friends want to work? None of them. And then as they got older, he's making money and they all started coming to work with him. I said, oh, you want to get paid? Well, you got to work. And by that time, he knew how to work. His friends didn't, and he's ready to do more and more. He's put away a lot of money buying his own real estate. He's actually, at the age of 25, invested in multifamily, invested in short-term rentals, he's starting to invest. That is amazing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. To leave a legacy like that. And not only that, but you're arming them to do things that, they wouldn't have done. And again, all these things we start, he likes going to dinner with me and my wife, because why? It's called what? Tax deduction. Yeah. It's a meeting. We have a lot of meetings in our family. And they're all legal. And you're all going, well, are you sure? No, they are. You meet my wife, she'll talk to you about estate planning every other minute. She'll give you estate plan tips. Yes.
Do you have a question mark on age for a kid?
Yeah, I always ask the question, how old do they have to be to work for you?
16, I thought.
Employment.
No, I heard 6 or earlier if you have something that they can do.
How about babies on TV? Are they working? What are those called? They're there. As long as it's reasonable, they can work. As long as it's reasonable, right? Babies on TV, they're working. And again, kids, they can start buying their own clothes. They can start paying for their own school. They can start paying. So you get that, right? Instead of you giving them the money. I've got kids who are in college and their parents go and buy a place for them so that they can then bring their friends to rent from them. What is that called? Property managers. Now you can pay your kid to be a property manager, plus depreciate the property, plus charge rent, plus deduct the rents. All this stuff just takes off. But a lot of us don't do it. Why? Because we don't know how. We're not sure. Or we talked to our next door neighbor and told us, no, don't do it. You're going to get audited, right? So again, hiring your kid's a beautiful thing. This is a fun one, home office. A lot of people get confused. There's a home office square footage now, today. The IRS gives you that simple method. Have you heard about the simple method? Where you don't even need the receipts. You don't even need the calculation. You just need to know the square footage, $5 times the square foot. Pretty cool, right? That one I like. I'll tell you the one that I really like is having this one against your LLC. Meaning your LLC rents from you the home office. You have a lease agreement. Now, if you pay a lot in taxes in your home, we all know your personal home is capped at what? $10,000. So if you're paying over $10,000, those other dollars that are not being deducted, well, in the lease, you could capture those. So if you're paying 12, 14, well, they're potentially going to be prorated into that lease. Beautiful, right? Now we got more than the 10,000. And again, I always tell folks, fix your office up, decorate it, buy new furniture, buy stuff, make it nice. It's your stuff. Take the deduction. Because if you don't, who are you giving the money to? Uncle who? We all know Uncle Sam's name very well, don't we? And he gives you a Christmas card every night, doesn't he? Every weekend, every year, he gives you a Christmas card, right? I don't think so. So seriously, why not get all your office set up? Again, people don't. Retirement, do you fund your retirement? You can do these right now. If you've done an extension, you can do it all the way to September 15th. I had a client who's going to pay a lot of money, and I said, you know what? We did 25% of his payroll and up to 60-some thousand. And he goes, but I don't have that money. I go, don't worry, we're going to extend you. But you have up to September 15th to go make that money. And we can now calculate that tax, what it's going to be for you for 2024. Remember, we're in 2025. So we're going all the way up to September 15th for him to make that money to put into that SEP for 2024. That's one of the reasons you want to do extensions. This is why I do it, is because we always figure out what is our defined benefit plan. There's a lot of different plans out there. And what can we put in? What should we do? This is a good plan. Instead of just taking it and going, well, here's your taxes, there you go. Tough, you got to pay, right? So we have clients extended for their SEPs or their IRAs. HSAs, do you fund those? Do you take advantage? These are just basics. A lot of people are missing the basics. Right, Jennifer? They miss the basics. You go, where's your HSA? Whatever. Well, that means you're living whatever on the table and you're paying more taxes. You do that for the SEP, same thing. Over and over we see this. 288 deduction, do you know what that is? The executive meeting deduction. Meaning that you could have up to 12 to 15 meetings a year and charge yourself, and you did to deduct it. Have you heard of this one called the Augusta rule? That one you use? Say, yeah, that's good, right? And again, this is additional things that were given in the first 4 or 5 strategies. Most people haven't done these, and they just leave them behind, and paid more taxes over and over. Again, depreciation, cost segregation. I love that. 100% bonus. Do you think we're going to get it in 2025? I think so. I think so. That's what we're hoping. We're hoping to get it in 2024. They might, right? They were thinking they would go backwards. Really? Retroactive. Let's see. I don't know. We still haven't seen it, but it's in the air. It's been passed. It's just stuck. And 100% is nice deduction, guys. Again and again. Business owner, real estate investors. So we've been talking about deduction, but you got to be lendable. Lendable is being in the game. Don't get yourself out of the game. So every time you go do your taxes, go, what's my add backs? What do I need to do? How do I add these things? Depreciation is a big add back. Mileage is a bad back. Some of these are all one-time deductions. We got to look at it. Where are you going to be lendable? Are you going to be lendable? Being in the real estate game, that is important. We look at every real estate investor and we go lendability. So we know that you give us your accounting and then we try to group things so that we can depreciate so that lendability is there. Not just take them as deductions. We still lower your taxes, but you get to become lendable. These are the 4 buckets that we've been talking about today. Qualified retirement bucket, most of y'all know, 401ks, IRA, SEPs. Tax-free bucket, that's the one that a lot of people do not know, but they can work on it. Real estate is what we're talking about tonight. And alternative investments, having your companies. Again and again, you should have your company or companies working against to lower your taxes. Because if you don't, you're paying too much in taxes. Have you heard of Edflix? Don't tell Netflix we have Edflix, okay? This is our Zoom channel. You can get on the Zoom channel Monday through Friday. Catch us at 12 noon or at 6. Or get on Edflix on demand. That's why we called it Edflix. Just don't tell Netflix, because, you know. And we have this show, and we continually feed it because clients need to learn, continue learning. And again, as a CPA, we're feeding our clients over and over and over the learning. Because even if you've heard it once, you got to hear it twice, you got to hear it 3 times, 4 times. And then you'll be able to execute. And we know that. That's why we have this constant shows there, Monday through Friday. This is our information if you need to contact us. I'll take some questions if Chris allows me to. Is that cool? And I've opened it up to questions. Anybody have questions? Woo! No questions. I didn't see anybody. I'm out of here.
You mentioned a lot about STRs,
Yes.
but what about NTRs and LTRs?
I like them too.
Okay.
So tell us what MTRs are so everybody knows.
Midterm rentals.
And who does those?
Me. But
You.
anyway.
But who does that client? What type of client
It's
is
like
that?
travel nurses. It has to be over 30 days.
That's
and
correct.
it's less than a year.
Same thing. I like that. They're in that space. Yes. I love those types. Similar to STRs. MTRs are excellent. And she's right. I mean, these are ways to work through. Sorry, Chris. This is a good way to work through to make sure that, you can qualify as a real estate professional, or you can bypass that. Now, I will tell you, MTR screwed up the IRS. I've been through the audit. They don't get it. And they give it to you. Good. Yeah. MTRs, right? The IRS, because the code, if you read the code, it's either STR, short-term rentals, long-term rentals. There's no MTRs. COVID changed a lot of stuff, guys. It's not in the code. A lot of stuff got changed. Yes?
Love the energy, by the way.
You love the energy. And I should be exhausted because I just got out of tax season. And I told Chris I'm a morning presenter. Can you imagine?
So for the tax return, so we have 2
Yeah.
kids. How do you classify them in the tax return? Is it labor, contract labor? How do you?
For your kids? Are you saying? Yeah, so when you get your kids, how old are they?
15 and 12.
Whew, they're perfect. Perfect age. Just put them to work. Contract labor would be the first step as we start paying them. You could have a quasi-employee, but they must meet 16 years old, but you can still put them in. But some of that might be, we'll look at it, but most of our kids that are under the 16 years age are contract labor or other labor. They just get paid as other, and their amounts aren't subject to self-employment because they're part-time and they're just seasonal, or that's the kind of things we do with the kids.
Is this
Yep.
like a maximum amount you can pay them in a year?
Depends. Do they drive a car? If he drives or they drive, we put our son to drive. How old? At 15? You got to go drive because you got to deduct your mileage. No, I'm just kidding. No, 16 is mileage. So they can offset some of that, right? But depends, right? So depending on your tax return, we can play with that and see what it is. But you would want to do something real of what they do, right? We're not saying put them to work. We're saying put them to work. Yeah.
So how do you do that with younger kids, like the baby?
Have you gone to Facebook or any of the YouTubes? There's kids going, my daddy's selling this house and here's my daddy. If you go to YouTube, those are my clients. I tell them, use them as models, but execution more than just the model. Your family can live here. And if a lot of the kids that are on YouTube, a lot of those are my clients doing that. And it's because they're putting records of what their kids are doing. And it's a footprint, and IRS is difficult to to challenge that. So that's a good way.
What happens if you have companies already that own properties and that properties has loans? How you divide that in different properties now, in different LLCs or?
How can you move them, you're saying?
Yeah.
So there's ways to do it, but I won't give you the details because obviously you got to talk to your legal professional, right? Right there. No, but there's ways to do it. And again, you don't want to trigger that clause that you have when you move properties, but again, there's ways to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a W-2 worker.
Hallelujah, you need STRs. You have them.
I have 3.
Good for you. Did you do cost seg?
That's what
No!
This is my question. So, I've worked full time, and at the time, I was doing 3 renovations, and I was just trying to get through the renovations. This whole cost seg tax, that was too much, and I had kind of heard that phrase, that word term floating around. It was just too overwhelming because I was trying to learn how to do renovations and buy houses and do that, and I was like, I'll have to do that later. So, but now, is cost segregation something you can only do within the first year, or can you cap that later?
So I have the answer for you, but you got to pay me. No, I'm just kidding. So let me just tell you your answer. Hallelujah. I'm glad you asked it. Can you still do a cost seg and apply it backwards? The answer is yes. Yes, you can.
Okay.
If you need help,
I need
yeah,
help.
okay. Yes, you can. I have a story for you. Have a guy that came, yes, that has my number there. Have a story for you guys. Got a builder who builds homes, and if he can't sell them, he rents them. So we're talking over the last 3, 4, 5 years, probably had, because the selling of homes slowed down, he's got a lot of rentals. And he had been in a CPA firm, and his taxes were about 1.2 million. Comes to me, I don't know why, maybe because I'm Hispanic. No, I'm just kidding. He's crazy, he'll do it. I did a cost seg on 35 of his properties. We rolled them back the last 3 years, and I told him, look, I know IRS isn't going to like this. And I know you're going to get audited. Do you still want to do it? Because I want to do it. And he says, yes. We did it. They approved first year. We went back 3s. They approved the first year back. Second year back. The third year they audit. Now, check this out. 2 years approved with the same methodology. How do you audit that third year? We didn't change anything. We did the same process, the same cost segregator, the same thing. The IRS agent says, well, my boss wanted me to audit 1 year. So ask your boss, how does the agency approve 2 years in a row and the third one with the same methodology, with the same people? No answer. And I asked their boss, and I said, I'll take you to court. They gave it up. They said, forget it. Because the truth is, if you apply the same method of consistency method across, so you got 1.2 reduced to 200,000. And other CPAs wouldn't do it. Why? Fear. Fear. Not that I don't go around putting in Facebook, Ed doesn't fear the IRS. I don't need you to make me a target. I don't need you to do it. What the hell are you doing? They know me, but the truth is, I'm willing to do the fight as long as I know I can win the fight. That makes sense? The fear in there, but again, don't put me in Facebook, because there's people that, hey, who doesn't? Hey, I have some crazies out there. They'll ask, who doesn't fear the IRS? And my name comes out 10 times. I'm like, no, I fear.
11 times.
Ah, see, I knew it. He set me up. Any other questions? Are we good?
What was executive meeting? You mentioned the second.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
I promise.
All right.
Just tell Chris, hey. I'll send you the links. I'll send you all the links if y'all get with Chris. I'll give you the links of all these things.
The separate LLCs, do you have to show profit losses on those, or you actually move all of the profit loss on the management LLC?
What I do is I like to run all the income and expenses inside the individual properties, and I just charge a management fee for those individual properties. So they pay a fee at the end of the year, one-time fee, boom, sends it to the management company, and that's an expense in the property. It's cleaner that way. So IRS can see it all, and then you can use your money per properties because you need it, and that's where it's at.
If you have more than one company, can you have 2 offices in your home? And
If you have 2 separate offices, yes. You can't use the same office for the other company. So you have office 1, office 2. I have people who have office 1, office 2, and they have 2 different companies, and that's okay. Yeah. I tell them, okay, you got to have 2 offices. Yeah, they do.
like convert 1 bedroom to an office is fine?
That is not called an office. That's called a quasi bedroom with a work area. So you got to be careful with that. That's been audited and they threw it out. Because you can use a quasi work area, but what I just talked about is full office, independent office, right? Because we're taking a bigger deduction. And IRS says you must have an office. Now, if you turned your den, your dining room, you could take a square footage deduction, but you got to be careful because you got to be conservative with that because that's beyond the office. That's kind of a quasi for personal and business.